Hey guys, Zepha here. Today I want to talk about the Wizards Giving Crowns Reward event that just went live today and discuss whether it's worth the cost or not. And spoilers, but there are some major problems here. The event runs from today through November 27th and goes from 650 crowns at Tier 1 all the way to 80,000 crowns at Tier 15. Basically, for those of you who don't know, during Crowns Reward events, if you spend crowns in the regular crown shop, you'll get credit towards the Crowns Reward event, which can be viewed by clicking on this button on the bottom right. So if I buy a total of 650 crowns worth of stuff, I'd earn the first tier reward, and on up to the highest tier of 80,000. Now, this can be a way for players to get a few extra goodies by spending crowns, but it can also be very predatory, and it all comes down to what kind of spender or player you are. For instance, if a crown reward event comes up and you are going to spend your crowns anyway to buy a new mount or get some energy elixirs, then great, you just get some extra stuff as a bonus. However, depending on the rewards featured in the Crowns Reward event, some players may feel pressured to spend crowns they weren't planning on spending just to reach those specific tiers in the Crown Reward event. In other words, they aren't spending crowns naturally and then getting a bonus, they're spending crowns on things they might not really even want just so they can spend enough to reach the tier reward. And that can get predatory pretty fast. So let's take a look at the actual tiers for this Crowns Reward event. Tier 1 is the Thunder and Lightning Orb for 650 crowns. This is just a cosmetic housing item that looks cool and otherwise can't be bought or farmed for anywhere in the game, so this one I really don't have a huge problem with. It costs minimal crowns and it looks cool. The next two tiers are an Energy Elixir and Crafting Benefit Elixir for 1,200 and then 4,000 crowns. The Energy Elixir would normally be 250 crowns each if bought alone from the Crown Shop, and the Crafting Benefit can actually be redeemed from a G too. So to me, they're not really worth the prices here, but let's lean into the idea that this is just a bonus reward for spending crowns for now. However, then there's a huge jump of 6,000 crowns to reach the Tier 4 10,000 crown reward for a measly 2 Magma Peas. These seeds are normally worth 1,250 crowns each. It can also be pretty easily farmed in worlds like Mirage at higher levels. So this is where these huge jumps in crowns start to look a bit concerning. These seeds can be gotten for free, so why is there this huge gap of 6,000 crowns to only get 2 of them as a bonus? But let's keep going. If you spend 4,000 more for a total of 14,000 crowns, you get 2 Rockhammer packs. Right off the bat, these packs normally sell for 399 crowns each, but they're also just, like, meh. Generally, if you want to open jewel packs, you'd want the school jewel packs, which actually have useful jewels. You can also get a free Rockhammer pack from doing other events like the Decathlon, so it just seems lame that you only get 2 of these packs, which already aren't even that good, but you have to spend a whole extra 4,000 crowns to reach that tier. Like, why not offer the different school packs instead and in larger quantity? Next up are the Tier 6 with 18,000 crowns for a bonus of the Archangel's boots, and then Tier 7 for 24,000 crowns for the Archangel's hood. So we've jumped up another 4,000 crowns to reach this new tier with the boots, and then it's another 6,000 crown jump up to Tier 7 for the hood. And here's where the problems really become apparent to me. The Archangel full set can be bought from the Crown Shop for 5,000 crowns outright. Well, the gap between Tier 6 and Tier 7 just to get the boots and hood, not the robe, is 6,000 crowns, which is already more than literally the full set would cost normally from the Crown Shop. Not to mention the fact that you can literally get all the Archangel gear for free by farming for it from bosses. I have a full set myself that I did not spend a dime on. So the value of the crowns we're spending to reach these tiers versus the value of the rewards you actually get just feel really lopsided in the worst way possible. And yes, these tier rewards represent bonuses added onto your crowns purchases. They're not supposed to reflect the actual value of each of these items, but still, I feel like there shouldn't be this huge gap between their value when you can literally buy these things for way less or get them for free. Because veteran players will see this stuff and go, yep, that's a bad deal, and move on, but new players might see the Archangel gear and go, oh, that looks cool, and think they actually have to spend this amount of crowns to get that gear. There's literally a note in the promo for this reward event that says some of the gear can't be found elsewhere, so a new player might read that and not realize they can buy it for way less or farm for it. So they shell out 24,000 plus crowns specifically for the Archangel gear. But you know what? Let's continue. 4,000 more crowns gets you the stuffed turkey. Is a stuffed turkey housing item worth spending 28,000 crowns? Maybe ask yourself that question. Then for 32,000 crowns, you get an apple tree. One singular apple tree. Yep, this feels rewarding to me. Next, at tier 10 for 36,000 crowns is the bamboo wand. And oh boy, here we go. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is actually a brand new wand that hasn't been released before, so this is where these reward events become predatory to all different players, because this is where they hook you. Many players are going to feel tempted to buy this wand because it's unique and exclusive and will spend 36,000 crowns on it, which is equivalent to about $60. Is this wand worth $60? No. Could KA instead have put it in the crown shop on its own for a much more reasonable price? Yes. But they didn't. So I guarantee people will see this wand and then splurge by spending 36,000 crowns in the crown shop on stuff they might not even want, all so they spend enough to hit this tier. It isn't a bonus reward anymore, it's specifically what they're spending to reach. Now we're at tier 11, where you can finally get the Archangel robe for 40,000 crowns. Oh boy! By separating the boots and hood from the robes, they're clearly hoping you feel pressured enough to spend enough to get the full set, despite there being a gap of 22,000 crowns between the boots and robe. Does this seem sketchy to anyone else? At tier 12, we get the Turkey Gobble teleport effect for 46,000 crowns when normally teleport effects are 2,500 crowns, and they could literally just put this in the crown shop as a standalone item, but instead put it here with no other way to get it, so you'll feel pressured to spend an eye-watering amount for the pleasure of teleporting with a turkey effect. For 50,000 crowns, you can then have the Shuffle emote, which to me is just like, okay. There's a ton of emotes you can get for free by doing Rate My Stitch crafting, but hey, you know, you do you. Next is tier 14 for 60,000 crowns, so we're jumping up by 10,000 right there for a hyper elixir. These normally go for 5,000 crowns alone in the crown shop, and you can also get them for free by doing events like Scroll of Fortune, so this is just kind of a joke at this point. You can literally buy 2 of these for the cost of reaching this tier and then getting only 1. Finally is our highest level 15 tier for a mind-boggling 80,000 crowns, and all for an Imp Bumper Car. And yes, this mount is permanent compared to the version you can get in the fall 2022 Scroll of Fortune, where this mount first originated. So some people will want it because there's no other way to get a permanent version of this mount. However, again, is this mount worth 80,000 crowns, or the equivalent of $80 to $100 depending on if you get crowns during a sale? I guess that's for the players to decide, but it's no coincidence that KI has so far only offered this mount as a permanent option in this Crowns reward event and not anywhere else. The hope is that they can snare 2 different player groups this way: the players who don't know any better and are inexperienced, and the players who have extreme fear of missing out and will splurge to get the new bamboo wand and permanent mount because there's no other way to get those items otherwise. My point is, in the end, it's not really about giving players a nice little extra bonus for crown spending they were going to do anyway. It's about making you feel like you're missing out on something, so you'll spend an obscene amount of crowns specifically to get those items, with the rest of the tiers literally there as near worthless placeholders to disguise how little value you're actually getting by participating in these events. Obviously, everyone can and should do whatever they want with their own money and crowns. My goal here is not to shame players for their choices, but rather to educate people on the actual value of these items and hopefully encourage KI to include better rewards for these events and include more options to buy some of these things outright rather than having to spend extra crowns to reach those tiers. Like placing the bamboo wand and permanent imp car in the crown shop would be a great step forward. Crowns reward events should be about giving players some extra rewards, not pressuring them into spending ridiculous amounts of money for fear of missing out on something. Let me know, do you think Crowns rewards events are fair or predatory? And what changes do you think KI should make going forward? I genuinely think the more we have an open dialogue about this, the more likely KI is to change for the better. As always, I hope to see you out there in the spiral, and happy questing.